Well, hey, welcome, kids. It's your uncle, the professor. What's up, everybody? What's going on? Namaste, Mirnam, Professor. Hey, Absi Milker, Hushiwi. Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure called Movie Community College, where we very rarely talk about movies. It is morphed into more of South Asia culture and politics and doings. So I got a video here from the great WION News, and it's an exclusive. Chinese troops are seen with machetes tied to their spears as they sneak across the border. What the hell's going on? Let's take a look at this. Okay, hold on a second.
Pictures from the Rezang standoff on Monday have exposed Beijing's claims. These pictures show PLA troops carried spears tied at the top near the Rezang heights. The spears and machetes carried by the Chinese troops are in violation of the long-standing agreement between the two armies not to carry weapons near the LAC. The pictures also provide an insight into what might have transpired during the Galwan clashes, which resulted in 20 Indian soldiers being killed. India has denied PLA's claims that Indian troops had fired warning shots along the LAC at Pangong Tso's southern bank. Let's get in further details now from our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibul, joining us live. Siddhant, first, for our viewers, elaborate what we are seeing in those images.
Well, Molly, it's perhaps one of the biggest developments in India-China relationship. We have seen over the last 4 months how the situation has deteriorated. But what happened on Monday is something of a cause of major concern. From the visuals, you can get a feeling of what the Chinese were doing. They are claiming, the Beijing has claimed in its press release and its statements that these Chinese soldiers wanted to negotiate. They were there to converse, have a dialogue. But the pictures betray the statement made by Beijing because they were carrying spears and other sharp weapons other than, of course, their usual weapons they are supposed to carry. So it clearly negates what Beijing has been saying, but the pictures are the proof of the involvement of Beijing in creating the crisis through provocative actions described, of course, by the Indian army as well. We know that the Indian army has rebutted the statement made by the Chinese army, the midnight statement by the Chinese army over the so-called firing. The Indian army has clearly said that it was the Chinese who were involved in firing at the line of actual control. But one thing is for certain, that after 40 years, the myth that never ever the firing happened at the LAC has now broken officially. Now, of course, the situation remains very serious. And the development of Monday comes just days before the Indian foreign minister is expected to meet with his Chinese counterpart, the foreign minister of China, Wang Yi. We know that even as we speak, the Indian foreign minister is about to reach Moscow. He was in Tehran earlier in the day, but in Moscow, of course, he is there to participate in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization's foreign ministers meeting. This is the second high-level in-person political meeting between India and China. Last week saw the defense ministers of both the countries meeting, and thereafter, of course, a readout clearly stated that how firmly India had told the Chinese to disengage in the north bank of the Pangong Lake. But it seems that the Chinese are trying to create more problem on the ground. One source described WION the situation on the ground being at the knife's edge, and
Literally.
this is the situation.
Literally
Serious
at the knife's
situation.
edge.
Yesterday only the foreign minister of India said it is a serious situation. Before that, the foreign secretary said it's a challenging situation. So situation remains precarious, and as New Delhi has been saying, diplomacy is the only way forward.
Agreement between the two sides, between the two armies, to not carry weapons near the LAC. From what you're telling us, this is a major violation of that agreement, as we see in those images, and as you're elaborating for us, those spears that the Chinese PLA troops are carrying.
There was a report here in America China and their military, and that they now have the largest navy in the world. And it's not just made up of a bunch of junk, that they actually got some good weapons. And the American report said that China is bloodthirsty. They want to get out and they want to use their weapons just to demonstrate to the world that they are the new superpower. And I don't know if, well, I believe that they'll do this, and I think they're going to use India as ground zero for this, that they will try to provoke some type of warfare with India. However, I don't think they're going to be very successful for it, because it's one thing, to want to be the man. It's another thing to beat the man, right? You can have some, you can have some great weaponry or a lot of weaponry, but if you don't have the heart of a warrior, what difference does it make? Because I just don't think that they're built for war, China. I just don't think they are. They think they are. Mike Tyson, who's a famous American boxer, said everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And I think that's what we're going to see with China. Oh, they have a plan for world domination. We're going to be this great, military, communistic empire that's going to sweep over the world, until somebody punches them in the mouth. How many times do you watch these reports from Ladakh where there's not weapons, in China, the Chinese army is just getting their butts physically beaten by the Indians in hand-to-hand combat? And I'm not saying that to disparage my Indian brothers and sisters, but what are you doing, China? I mean, India is not, when I think of India, I don't think of tyrannical military power. I don't think of, of hardcore trained warriors that have been going on for hundreds of years. I don't. I think of a peace-loving, semi-pacifist culture, a Hindu culture, that is more concerned with the spiritual than the act of warfare. I can't think of a time when India started a war with somebody, ever, in their history. And they've been around a long time. I think China is just they're overcompensating, they're overestimating their opponent in the world, because, China, you're going to pick a fight with India, which means you're going to trigger America and Israel. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. You're talking about three nations that have done it the right way, the hard way, and there's a certain gravity to these three nations. There's a certain gravitas to them about how they live their lives, and I just think China's in for a huge correction. An embarrassment, quite honestly, that they're going to be embarrassed on the world stage, because it's ridiculous. So, very good video. I haven't seen those images before, and that is definitely a provocation if I've ever seen one, of the no weapons treaty. So I will catch you guys later. Peace and much love.